play. This is DWBS Sports. DWBS Sports, it's your favorite show. DWBS Sports, where degenerates go. DWBS Sports, time to change your approach with Aaron Holzman and his father, the coach. Let's ride.
Well, the Associated Press is full of shit.
What's up, guys? I'm back. I'm back for another show, the third of the day. It's DWBS Sports, and it is a big show for us. We're going to talk a lot about Oaklawn. Before we do, though, we need to talk about the Super Bowl, I think, first. We've talked about it a little bit, but not in detail as far as this show goes. It was a great Super Bowl. Give me your overall thoughts on what we saw.
It was a great Super Bowl. It sure was. Didn't you just talk about it for a long time, just a little while ago?
Yes. It was a subject for a while. But from your side of how you saw it, how do you
I do want to offer congratulations to Jared. We talked a little bit on the dudes who bet. Well, maybe it was after the show today. Jared's one of these guys. He's been with the Chiefs through thick and thin. He's not a fan. I know a lot of people are fans of the Chiefs now that weren't fans before, and he's suffered through some lean times with them. I mean, it's been a good franchise over the years for sure, but they've had some lean times that he's had to go through. So he's the type of fan that just is thrilled by when they win these things, because there's been seasons they haven't been very good. So congratulations to him, and enjoy it every bit you can. It was a great game. A couple of things I took away from it. The Chiefs are the best at getting the ball last.
Yep.
And that's a big key in college football now and pro football. These games are close. You got to have that dadgum thing last. And they're pretty good at it. They know how to milk that clock. So that was a big deal. You have to stay ahead of the Chiefs by 2 scores. I really believe that. You can't be 1 score away from them. They're going to figure out a way to beat you. And the Eagles for a long time kept that 2-score lead, but they couldn't hold on to it. And it got them in the end. I thought the Eagles were great. I thought Jalen Hurts was unbelievable. You know, I think he's cemented himself as an up-and-coming superstar.
Yeah, no, I agree. And you're right. It felt like the Eagles were still in okay shape. And then once it got down to 1 score, they were in trouble. I thought when the Chiefs came out and made it 24-21, the Eagles were putting on a pretty decent drive. Then they got stopped. They had to kick a field goal. Kind of looked at Heather and I said, Chiefs have got this game. Yeah. Like, they're behind. I was like, I feel really good about Chiefs plus 1.5 right now.
Absolutely. I did too. And again, we talked about it on the Daily Show yesterday. And I would have kicked the field goal too, don't get me wrong. But I think it was 4th and 5, right? I think that's what it was for the Eagles when it was 24-21, and they were in Chiefs territory in field goal range, 4th and 5.
It's 4th
and
and
I
short.
thought at the time, the play is to kick it. There's no question about it, but you're going to get your ass beat if you do.
Yeah.
And they did, and that's what happened, because really against the Chiefs, that field goal didn't do you just a whole lot of good. It just didn't, really do you much good. So he kind of went, the coach of the Eagles, he kind of went against what he did all year. But I'm not knocking him. I mean, they had to kick it there. So the other thing we mentioned a little bit on the Daily Show, and that what would have happened, because the Chiefs deliberately didn't score a touchdown when the Eagles were going to let them there with like a minute 30, I think there was left, something like that, when the guy took a knee on the 2-yard line because they knew they could run the clock out and kick a field goal. And it all worked out fine. It worked according to script exactly like they wanted. And it was a gimme field goal, no question. But a lot of things can go wrong on a field goal. A bad snap, a block, kick, get a penalty, something. What would have happened if they missed that, if they didn't make that field goal? Would they then be getting criticized for not scoring that touchdown, which would have given them a 7-point lead with a minute and a half to go? That would have been interesting if something like that had happened. And I'm not saying they didn't do the right thing, because they did. But it's not a gimme to kick a field goal. Wouldn't you have been nervous if it had been Oklahoma and they didn't?
maybe not so much at the 2-yard line. I can remember when Oklahoma played for a field goal out on around the 20-yard line against Texas one year in overtime and missed it. That I was mad about. When you get down to the 2, no, it was the right play.
I would have been nervous though.
Yeah, but again, say Oklahoma was playing like the Texas team that had like Colt McCoy, right?
Yeah.
You knew if you score the minute 40 left, you're going to give the ball back to a good Texas team, and they had a shot to beat you. It was the right call. Again, in that situation, it was the right call to do it. I get what you're saying. It could have really backfired.
Man.
But at the end of the day, that's what you have to do.
You do. You got to have the ball last.
Especially in today's football.
It's
so easy to move the ball quickly now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Us old timers can remember games back in the 60s, 70s, even the 80s. You'd be up 21-0 at the half or 21-6 at the half. You didn't worry about the game. You had it won. Yeah. Now you can be up 21-0 going into the fourth quarter. You might still get beat. I mean, it's never over in these offensive minded games now. Yeah,
you have to play keep away, and so it's definitely you do put it in the hands of a kicker, but again, it's literally a 20-yard field goal. You got to make it. Now, if he misses it, I'm sure there would be people who criticize it, but they shouldn't.
It was the thing to do.
Yeah.
And the Eagles letting them score was the thing to do. And remember, I texted you guys with 5 minutes to go, and I said, guys, they need to let them score. Act like they're going to stop them for a minute or so, let them make a first down, and then let them go score because they're going to get their butts beat if they don't. So
you texted again when there was a little over 2 minutes left and the Chiefs were down around the 20. You said, just let them score. Yeah. And what happened was the penalty was the absolute worst thing, because if you would have let him, you're not going to let him score on third down, but if you don't hold and he beats you, well, it's not great, but that's not as bad as getting that penalty. So it was the worst thing that could have happened. One thing I want to ask you, because you coach forever and as now a bettor and a fan, like the call was correct as far as by the letter of the law, that was a hold. Right. The player has even admitted it, but swallowing the whistle inside 2 minutes unless something's blatant. Do you agree with that, or do you think no, a penalty is a penalty?
That's just a really touchy situation. I think the guy had to call it because they were the only 2 players out there. It wasn't over the middle where there was a group of players or anything. I think he just reacted to what he saw. And I don't think he gave one thought about what the situation was, which is, I think, what you want the referee to do. I know in basketball, especially, we see the whistle swallowed. In the last 10 seconds of a game. There's a lot of times a guy will go drive it in for a layup and get the crap knocked out of him, and they don't call it. Yeah. And I think that's wrong. I do. They want the players to settle it. So there's good and bad. I know when it happened, I turned to Sandy and I said, golly, I wish they'd have let them decide this themselves.
Same. Yeah.
Yeah. But at the same time, when I saw the replay and I saw Mahomes' reaction immediately that, he knew that guy had been held, I kind of changed my mind. I did. When it first happened, my first thought was, let the players decide a game like this, guys. Don't throw a flag, because it wasn't that obvious until we saw the replays. So.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I hated that they called it. But again, when you look at it, it's like, well, if you want them to call the game, that is a penalty. Yeah. I don't know if they should have called that, but I think overall the worst thing about it was a great Super Bowl that may have been maybe the greatest of all time if certain things would have happened. So it got taken away from at that point.
Yeah, and we're taking for granted that the Eagles would have drove down the field. It looked like they would have. I mean, the Chiefs hadn't really stopped them much either, although they did a couple times in the second half when they had to. And the Eagles had no clue how to. I didn't go study tape or anything like that. I'm past that. But
Right.
I have a feeling what the Eagles decided to do was just double team and triple team Kelsey, and the Chiefs beat them with their other receivers because their other receivers were wide open.
Yeah, they tried to stop the big play and they tried to stop Kelsey, and that allowed a lot of underneath wide open stuff. Yeah,
And they were wide open.
they were, and the Chiefs executed that perfectly. Yeah, they didn't have any trouble with it. And I thought the other big thing that I don't feel like anybody talks about that I thought permanently flipped the game, even though the Eagles did come back to tie it. They gave up that punt return to the 5-yard line because here's the deal. The Chiefs were scoring, but the Eagles were making them kind of earn it, other than obviously the fumble in the first half, but they kind of got over that. But that punt return, that they couldn't do because they could have maybe held them to a field goal, and then it's 30-28. But when that happened, that was a killer.
It was a killer. There's no doubt about it. And and that was there's just little things between those two teams. I got to tell you the truth. The Eagles are a lot better than I thought they were.
Yeah, I agree. Well, listen, the Chiefs pretty much stopped the running game as far as the running back goes.
They really did.
I thought that was going to happen. I thought the Chiefs would win by double digits, but Jalen Hurts was incredible in this game.
Oh, he threw some on the money passes.
Yeah, I mean,
their receivers
almost won the game for him.
He did, and their receivers were incredible too. They made some great catches, and so they're forced to be reckoned with if they can stay healthy and continue to add some pieces. Mm-hmm. Their defense isn't great. I think they need to improve a little bit there. And the other thing, we talked about this last Thursday, how important this was for the legacy of the Chiefs. Mm-hmm. Pressure's off now. They've got 2 Super Bowls under their belt. That really cemented them. And now they have a chance to become a dynasty. And to me, they're kind of a dynasty already. They may need to win another one or two to become a dynasty. But what, they played in 3 of the last 5 Super Bowls, right?
Yeah.
2 of them have been in the AFC Championship game 5 years in a row. Yeah. Mahomes has never played a playoff game on the road.
Yeah.
The consistency that they've shown is pretty good. And I don't like the Chiefs, but I've got to hand it to them. And there ain't a better coach in the league than who they've got.
Well, that's another aspect of this. They were pretty much dominated in the first half, and they dominated the second half because of the adjustments that were made. I mean, they really weren't moving the ball that much in the first half. Second half, guys were wide open.
The guy is a great coach. Yeah. And he doesn't, and I guarantee you, he doesn't even know what analytics are.
No.
He can't spell analytics. He might not even be able to pronounce analytics because this guy's a football coach.
Yeah, he is.
He don't look at computers. He coaches the game the way you're supposed to.
Well, that's why Somich and I were all over the longest field goal made was going to be Kansas City and over those that yardage total because he still kicks field goals. Yep. And lo and behold, he kicked one. The Somich missed it, but so it cost our bets. But he did do what we thought he would do in that situation.
Yeah. I'm not seeing any of these analytic guys winning Super Bowls.
Yeah.
And this guy is he consistent. The Chiefs are consistent. When Mahomes first came in the league, the Chiefs were big play team. Then defenses adjusted to them. And he didn't panic. You remember last year when they got off to such a shitty start and everybody thought, hey, everybody's figured out how to stop the Chiefs. Yeah. They started being more patient. They adjusted. And boom, now here they are again, and it's just the consistency of the coaching. And the defensive coordinator does a really good job too. Yep. It's a good staff. It's a good organization. There's no doubt about it. And there's no reason not to bet them again right now to win it next year.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to have a chance to improve that team. They've got cap room, and we'll just see. They're a very young team, so we'll see. Yeah. As long as they've got number 15, they've got a shot.
Well, that's the whole thing. You take him off of there. Here's the other thing about Andy Reid. Remember when they drafted him number 1?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. He was not a foregone
No.
conclusion by everyone.
Everybody thought, what are they doing? Because I think he was like a 15 pick, kind of a middle of the first round pick, which is you get a really good player, which obviously they did. But at the time, I was going, Patrick Mahomes, what?
Yeah.
He wasn't rated that very high on anyone's list.
But he wasn't like a surefire top 5
guy.
Not
a number one pick.
No.
And they saw it. And because, hey, we saw him for whatever it is. I don't know how many years he played at Tech. I think it was like 3.
Yeah.
Did we ever think he was this kind of quarterback?
We thought he was a pro prospect, but that's
where
it ended. Yeah.
I think maybe we looked at it. I know I did. The fact they didn't win any games.
Yeah.
Well,
and it was a situation where Tech always had a quarterback that put up huge numbers, so it kind of became a normal thing.
That's true.
And he didn't, believe it or not, he didn't really stand out amongst the quarterbacks and their productivity, really, since Mike Leach got there, and then Kingsbury kept the offense going at least. So
I don't remember him running the ball like he
didn't. He didn't run much.
Yeah. So he saw this, and you got to give him credit, because this guy he might equal Brady if he stays healthy. I mean, it's possible.
Definitely. Yeah. Well, we're going to have a long time to talk about him. I don't think there's any doubt about that. He is just a special talent. And so we'll see. We'll see if they can keep it going. I'm sure soon we'll be talking NFL future wagers on one of these shows.
Here's another thing about him. I saw him on Jimmy Kimmel the other night. He's very, very personable.
Yep.
He seems to be grounded. He doesn't do anything controversial that I know of.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we would know because we live in Missouri.
Yeah.
I think Kansas City is a perfect place for him, as far as if he wants to stay grounded. There's not much media there.
Right.
So what's not to like about him? I mean, the guy he's just everything you want.
Yeah, exactly. And Mark brings up Graham Harrell. He was a good quarterback. Cliff Kingsbury was the first one at Texas Tech that started that whole thing. And you can go on and on from there. And Mahomes was just another one. Yep. So, all right. Well, let's get going on some Oaklawn talk. That wraps up the Super Bowl for us. And we've got a big bunch of races to talk about at Oaklawn today. So we'll do that. By the way, Magic's best bet from the show running right now. So we'll cover that as they come down the stretch. His 6 is going to win. And the 6 did go off at 1-2. So he needs the 5 to get in second, and the 5 was in second for a long time, going to get passed and finish third. We still may give it to him.
I don't like this rule. I'm going to stay it right now. He should get that.
All right. We'll let him have it. All right. Let's go to Oaklawn. We got 4 big races to cover. Fairgrounds is going to get a lot of the attention, and it should. It's a big-time card on Saturday. Don't forget about Oaklawn. There are some heavy hitters running at Oaklawn all through the weekend. We're going to start Friday, which is tomorrow, race 8 on the card, an allowance going 6 furlongs. That's right, an allowance. And this allowance race draws number 4 CZ Rocket, who was second, only beating a length and a quarter last time out in the Breeders' Cup Sprint. And now he shows up in an allowance at Oaklawn. Really tough draw here for all the other allowance horses in here. Good ones as well. Necker Island, Morello's here, edge to edge. Really strong race. Where are you leaning in this field of 7 to kick off Oaklawn Friday? Before
I even start this, these 4 races we're going to handicap, I think, are as hard as any I've dealt with in a long time. There are so many that can win, and even CZ is not a given here.
Yeah.
In fact, he might go somewhere else on this. We're going to talk about another horse a little while who's old. Let's look at how old CZ Rocket is.
Yeah.
He is 9.
I know.
And ran in the Breeders' Cup last year and damn near won it. So here's another legend of a horse. Solid. And it's so cool to see these older horses that just continue to run and stay healthy. And they're just phenomenons is what they are. You just don't see this. A level of a horse, at this age running in this. Anyway, it's hard not to pick him, don't you think?
Yep.
It's so hard not to pick him. So I have to pick him on top. And then you start looking, okay, what's next? Okay, so you look at the 5, Morello, who the one of the handicapping sites we use a little bit to help us has this horse picked first to win, and you may have went with him. Did you?
Well, I just can't sit here and think CZ Rocket is just going to keep doing this. Like,
that's right.
these last 2 races were just fantastic. The end of last season, but before that, he kind of had fallen off a little bit.
Had done very well, absolutely.
I think Morello makes a ton of sense. He's a 4-year-old that just turning 3. As a 3-year-old, he had some big time races, and then he got injured.
Yep.
They kind of ran him in spots too long. He came back off the layoff. He won. Then he ran him at a mile again. It's just not his distance. Last time out, ran 6 furlongs, got better. I think this is a really good spot for Morello. I actually took Morello on top at 10 to 1.
He's the likely one to win.
Yeah.
I think there's some prices in there. I kind of like the 2, Rodney. I kind of like that horse as well. He's been off for quite a while, but he was running great. I guess he must have had some sort of an injury. His last time out was back the end of June last year, but he won a small stakes by 12 lengths. You always say, he didn't run against much, but he slaughtered it.
Yeah. So
there's one that's at 12 to 1. Morello's 10 to 1.
Mm-hmm.
Necker Island, we know what that horse is. That's a good horse. And Chris Hartman is off the charts at Oaklawn right now. He's winning just about everything. But, he's got number 6 in there too.
Yep.
With the jockey that's winning for him at Oaklawn. So you got a lot to pick from. And, there's no singles in this one that I can see. So I would go ahead and stick with CZ just from back class, and I would go 4, 5, and then the rest. If I was going to do a trifecta, I'd put 4 of them in there. I don't think I could settle on 3. I could. I mean, you may. I'm going to have to rely on you a lot on this one. I think I'd probably go the 6 as my third choice. 4,
yeah,
6.
The 6 edge to edge is just kind of. Just a solid type, you can kind of count on the horse to show up with a solid effort every time. It's just a crazy bunch. Like said, even the 7 Heart Rhythm cutting back in distance. I like that. I mean, the horse has been pretty darn competitive at 6 and 6.5. So makes a little bit of sense as well. I went 5, 4, 1, 7.
There you go.
I do like the 1 Necker Island. You mentioned it for Chris Hartman. I don't know if he's good enough to win, but I feel like he's going to hit the board, and I feel like you're going to get better than 7 to 2. And how this race gets bet is going to be interesting. Will CZ Rocket be less than even money in the spot? I mean, will people see, well, gosh, this horse was second at the Breeders' Cup. Surely he can win an allowance, right?
Well, I would think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he'll probably be maybe even.
Yeah. And I think that makes you get the prices you need on everybody else in this field. Like I said, I'm going to take a swing against him just thinking he can't keep it up, and those 2 races really came out of nowhere in a sense. And then you've got Morello here, who I think is going to get better. And I just think leave this horse at 6 furlongs, 6 or 7. And I think you're going to see good things from him.
I have to agree with you. The fact that the horse is 9 means something, right?
Yeah. I mean,
means something. It's hard to pick him against a field that's pretty strong.
Yeah.
But then you go back, his last start, I think, was a little bit stronger than this field.
Yeah, just a bit.
I can already hear Vic, the announcer, going, this is an allowance race with stakes horses in it, can't you?
Well, listen, I mean, almost every horse, and I say almost, maybe every horse in the race has won a stakes
Probably, yeah.
at some point. The 7 may have not have
I'm
won.
not sure that the other two has. Yeah, the two
The
has.
2 has, the 3 maybe not. No, the 3 is not.
I'm not sure the 6 has, Eric.
The 6, I thought it won at Oaklawn one
Well,
year.
it won an allowance. He won an allowance.
Maybe those were allowance races.
In January.
Yeah, could be. Well, again, it's definitely a situation where these horses are going to stakes next after this.
Yeah.
That much we can kind of tell.
Oh,
for
yeah.
sure.
That's a prep for something. Can you imagine CZ Rocket running an allowance race on Friday at Oaklawn and not being on the Saturday card?
I can't. No, I absolutely cannot. All right. Well, speaking of the Saturday card, let's go to the next one. You're going to go CZ Rocket. I'm going to go Morello on top. We'll see what happens in this one. All right. Let's go to the Saturday card here. It's going to be an allowance race for the 3-year-olds on Saturday. Race 6 on the card here, going a mile and a 16th. Like I said, allowance race, field of 12. So a big time field in here. A lot of ways you can go. Shopper's Revenge going to headline things here. He is the 3-1 favorite, but it's a tough field. Who you got in this one?
Yeah, it is. And the other thing, there are, let's see, at least 2 horses that are also entered in race 8 on Sunday. So you got to decide on, and one of them I like, which is the 7. I have a feeling he's going to run Sunday.
I do too.
That's what I'm thinking. The other is the 5, Arman. I think there's another one too in there that it's one that I don't like very well. There's 3 that are entered here that are also entered in the 8th race on Sunday. I'm just thinking Hartman may put 2 Eagles River in that one Sunday because I think it might be a little easier.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that race on Sunday. So for the sake of our talking, let's assume 2 Eagles River is going to go to the race on Sunday. It's at a mile. I think that's what he really wants. So
yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
That and then go on from here with this one. Yeah.
All right. There's speed all over the place in this one.
Yeah.
And the horse I like has got to make sure he doesn't get caught in a speed duel and lays off the pace a little bit, because I think some of these really good ones might get caught in that. I think the winner of this is going to be the one that can stay back off the pace just a little bit. Mm-hmm. And I like the 11, Shopper's Revenge. Was fantastic. Here, when was that? That was the 14th, won by 5 1/4, broke his maiden at 5 1/4. Almost every one of these horses have only got 1 win, and it's a maiden, and that's about the only thing they've ever run. They've only run 2 or 3 times, is what I'm saying. 2 Eagles River was an exception. So I like him. I also like the 10, Easy Action, as well, and I like the 8, Ben's Legacy. So I'm going to go 11, 10, 8.
Yeah, I think those are good horses to use. I thought about the 10 for a little bit, Easy Action, but end of the day, just I'm not quite sure he can beat the 11. I really like the 11, Shopper's Revenge. I like the fact that this horse on debut was not on the lead and still made a little bit of run to get up in second. Last time out was on the lead and galloped home. Yeah, I don't think the horse can make the lead here, but I think that's okay. I think we can stay in stalking position and still win. And I think that's going to be the key. I don't think he'll be on the lead, but I do think he can come from out of it and win. I want to talk about Ben's Legacy, though, a little bit as well. I'm with you. This is a horse that I think a mile 16 is going to be okay. Nice win last time out, 10-1. He's coming from out of it, I think, a little bit more. Mm-hmm. I think if you're looking for a horse to come from off the pace, the 8 makes a little bit of sense in here. Would not be shocked if the 8 runs pretty well. And I'll give you a flyer.
Okay.
If it totally melts down, and we're going to need a meltdown.
Okay? Oh, I know where you're going here.
The 4 little sweet thing, I don't think this horse is very good. I don't. But if the pace is a meltdown, this is one that has shown can really close and pick up the pieces. Wouldn't you agree with that?
Yeah, and that could very well happen, because you look at, I've got to my limited knowledge, I have 6 horses down. It's going to go to the front.
Yeah, and I totally agree with you. Yeah.
Yeah. And there's some rabbits in there that probably have no chance to win. One of them is the 6.
Mhm.
And I think he's going to get out there. Now one of them I had listed was the 7, and I don't think he's going to run.
Right.
But I think the key is, like, I think we both like the 10 and 11 a little bit. They got to make sure they don't get caught in a speed duel early.
Yeah. Yeah. They're going to have to sit, and win, kind of like Gun Pilot, last, I don't know if that was last weekend or 2 weekends ago, blend together, but he was doing his best running on the lead, and then he stalked the pace and won and looked really good doing it. That's what I'm hoping Sharper's Revenge can do. Stalk the pace and win.
Mm-hmm.
I just have a feeling, whether it's the 10 or the 11 or, maybe it's the 2 or the 6, who's ever out on that lead, I think it's going to be real tough for them to hold on.
Yeah. I'm kind of noticing a little bit that Santana he's riding for Asmussen in this race. Is starting to get back in favor just a little bit. Are you seeing that at all? Seems like he's on more horses, right? And of course, Rosario's struggling.
Yeah. And
it's not at Oaklawn that much. So anyway, it just seems to me like Santana's starting to get back into good graces with Asmussen.
There's no doubt. There's no doubt he's starting to ride for him again a lot more. And listen, when you show up on horses like this, it tells you, hey, we think you're a pretty good rider, and you're kind of back, because this is a horse that, he's going to be looking at the Arkansas Derby if he can win this, or wherever, Louisiana Derby, wherever they go with him.
Exactly. 3-year-old. This is a jump for him. He needs to win this race. If he wins it and if he's impressive, we're going to see him in some big time races down the road.
Yep. All right. We're both in agreement on the 11, and we also do like the 10 a little bit, hoping they can both stay off the pace a little bit. Stock. We like the 8, Ben's Legacy. And then my crazy one, the 4, a little sweet thing. Maybe the pace melts down. We'll see. All right, let's go. A couple of races later on this card. It is the Razorback Handicap. It'll be race 9 here at Oaklawn on Saturday. Grade 3 race, going 1 mile and a 16th for the older horses here. $600,000 the purse for this race. Hence, you see horses shipping in, and you see not only big trainers, you see some big jockeys that have come in to ride as well. You give away $600,000, you're going to get a good field. Field of 10. All right, Papa Dude, who are you going with in this field of 10?
This is Oaklawn right here.
Yeah, it is.
This is Oaklawn. Oaklawn's season is kicking off with this race, in my opinion. It's only going to get better from the rest of the time through the Arkansas Derby. This is when we really get with it. It's when they run the Razorback. Speed all over the place in this one too. Wouldn't you agree? Tons of speed.
A lot of speed.
Yeah, and so you kind of start looking at a horse that can come off the pace, and there's a couple of them in there. And again, I think the same thing here. Who can lay off of it a little bit and then come and get them at the end? I'm torn between 3 of them. I think you can put them in a hat and draw them out. I like the 2, the 6, and the 4. So I think I would go with the 6 on top, then the 2, and then the 4. Ginobili, I don't know whether he can get that distance.
Yeah.
He's never run that far that I could see, maybe when he was younger. So that's why I didn't put him up on top. I want to pick the 3, but here, look at here. This one's 10. We got to talk about him here in a little bit.
Yeah.
Mark mentioned this morning the pace sets up perfectly for him to come out of nowhere like he does and win it if he can stay close enough. Man, these are quality horses, though. So I really like the 6 in this one, and I like Law Professor as well. So,
well,
where'd you go?
We like 3 of the 4, or okay. two of the top 3, I guess. I don't know how you want to word it. The same. I like Law Professor a lot. So I'll talk about Law Professor a little bit here. Jose Ortiz follows this horse in to ride. That's a really good sign.
Yeah.
Listen, Rob Atras, ever since he's got his hands on this horse, he's been really, really good. 2 wins and a second. The second place effort came in the Woodward at Belmont at the Big A, and holy cow. I mean, ran really, really good behind Life is Good. So good. They tried the Breeders' Cup mile it didn't work out. I mean, but he wasn't awful. He got 5th, beaten 7 last time out, came back and absolutely romped in the Queens County. I really like this Rob Atras runner. I like number 2 Law Professor a lot. By the way, if you didn't know, Rob Atras was an assistant trainer for Robertino Diodoro. And where was Rob Atras at when he was assistant for Robertino Diodoro? Right here at Oaklawn Park. So he knows his way around Oaklawn. So I did like the 2. I put the and I see a comment now. Any love for hero status? I put the 8 in second, actually, in this race. Hero status, shipping in for Mark Glatt. Mike Smith will follow this horse in and have the ride. What's that?
That's interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting. And I like this horse. I think the horse has been improving. The last 4 starts have been very good. Specifically, I had a win last time out at Santa Anita at the distance against the Allowance Company. Got to move up, but I think at 8 or at 12-1, this is the kind of the longer price that you want to use here. So I went 2, 8, 6, and 4. You touched on the 4 and the 6. One other thing I will say for Ginobili, singled him last time, but in that last race, it was a mile, like you noted, and the pace was wildly different. I thought he would be loose on the lead, and he was, and he just kind of cruised around here. I'm with you. I don't know. I don't think you're going to be loose on the lead today. A lot of speed in this race.
Yeah, they're not going to let him get out today. They're just not. Or tomorrow.
No.
So, and the field's a little stronger, too. Great horse. Looked great last time out, but don't think the competition was quite what this one is. So you're right. He's not going to have that easy get to the lead this time.
No, not at all. Jared kind of liked, he did not pick on top, but his second choice was the 9 Keystone Field.
Mm-hmm.
This horse has won 3 out of 4 races, moving up to the Stakes Company, but a big allowance win here at Oaklawn last time out. Remember that race well. Did you look at the 9 at all?
Yeah, some. I couldn't get past those others, but definitely has a chance. There's even the 7. Last Samurai's got a shot,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Last Samurai, we'll talk about him for a second. 4th last time out in the Pegasus World Cup.
Yeah, and he ran good. He did.
So we'll see.
Yeah. So it's a great race to watch. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, just some local quote unquote legends, like the number 1 long range Toddy.
Oh, yeah.
Winner of the 2019 Rebel Stakes, has not won again. He's here. Rated R Superstar, obviously. We'll see what happens. He was 3rd last time out in the 5th season. We'll see if he can, muster up one last run there. Last Samurai is here. I thought this one was interesting. Caddo River is entered in this race now with Dwayne Lucas instead of Brad Cox. I thought that was weird.
That's weird.
Yeah. So,
but that we talk about, long range Toddy is 7 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. He has run. I wish I'd sat down and wrote down all of the huge races this horse has been in.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy.
He could have won a lot of races if they'd have run him in where he belongs. You know what I mean? He really doesn't belong in this field. Now
No.
he'll probably win it, but I don't think so.
I don't know what they're really trying to do with him, but he's here. It's really unbelievable. He beat Improbable in the 2019 Rebel Stakes, and
we're all shocked.
Before that race, now, did you think he was going to be Improbable? I mean, maybe not. I mean, I used him on a pick 5 ticket that day. I didn't have him on top, though.
No.
But, before that race, though, he had been really good. He got 3rd in the Southwest, really good race. 2nd in the Smarty Jones. He ran really well. He won 3 races at Remington, including the Springboard Mile. And you thought, this is a nice horse. Immediately after he won the Rebel, he sucked for like 15 races in a row. He wasn't even close.
No.
And then he kind of ran a couple of good races. And then he was awful again. Like, I've never seen a horse just completely tank like this horse did.
He's kind of like the one I can't think of his name, the one that Derby, what, 2-3 years ago? Silver, was it Silver State or something like that?
Yeah. Super stock.
Yeah, Superstock that come out of nowhere and won the Derby that day.
Okay, but here's the difference. That was a horrific Derby. We all knew it.
That's
It was
true.
a bad Derby.
That's true.
That Rebel was good. It
Yes.
probably was a really good horse.
Well, this horse had won a lot of races. So, the Springboard's it's not easy to win, and he'd won when the other one hadn't really done much of anything.
Yeah.
So,
it was just
it's crazy
to think that how he just totally boom, right off a cliff.
Is there any doubt in your mind that Rated R Superstar won't run well?
Well, there's no doubt in my mind he won't come with a run. Now, I don't know what that's going to mean for him, but yeah, he will make a run, no doubt.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to give it everything he's got. That's all he knows how to do.
Yeah.
But he may be a little bit over his head.
Yeah.
In this one.
Yeah, I think he is going to be a little bit over his head. I agree with you there.
Yeah.
But like Mark said earlier, and you mentioned it as well, the pace is going to set up pretty well. And that's the good news for fans of his. And I think most everybody is a fan of his.
They'll go crazy if he wins down there. That would be unbelievable. The thing is, the one he ran, the 5th season, when Ginobili beat him, he got back too far. He's going to have to get a little bit closer to the front this time. He can't get back that far.
No, you're right. You're absolutely right on that one. So
they got to get him closer.
All right. Well, let's go to wait. You said Wes Willpower is your top choice. I said
no, but you're about to talk me out of it. So
well, no,
I said I like any of those three.
He's another one, Wes Willpower, and I don't know what the odds are going to be. I don't think he'll be 2-1. I think he might float up, but
I do too.
I think he's going to show up and run. I don't think he's going to win, honestly, but I do think he will show up with a good effort and be up there with a chance.
I think Law Professor might be the favorite.
I'm afraid you're right. And I'm going to be mad when he is. But listen, he probably should be. Him or Ginobili should be, in my opinion. So we'll see. All right, let's go to the final race we'll talk about today. We're going to go. Let me see. Let me pull. if I can talk here. Sunday on the feature race of the card, race 8 on Sunday. 3-year-old allowance race going 1 mile here. A field of 7, so a shorter field, but we think 2 Eagles River will be running in this race. So we'll talk about him a lot on this. Also, Disarm is in this race for Steve Asmussen, big-time maiden special weight winner at Saratoga. Hadn't seen him since. He's back here. All right, Papa Dude, the last one of that we'll talk about, but it's a pretty darn good race. Who do you like in this one? It's
a really good one. Well, I got to wonder what happened to Disarm. Do you know?
I don't know specifically. I would imagine it was just a situation. It wasn't a serious injury, but obviously a problem and had to just sit out a lot of time. I do know the horse, I'd kind of heard he was going to come back a little bit sooner than this. So they may have just had, hey, it's a little setback. We'll take some time. We're getting ready to get him back. They had another little setback. I do know now, though, 6 workouts in a row. And from what I've been told from people that are at Fairgrounds, he has really, really been working well leading up to this comeback.
Well, there's no doubt his maiden win was impressive.
Mm-hmm.
A win by 6 lengths at Saratoga is pretty good. So if he's healthy, he's probably right at 8-5 if he's healthy. That's the key. I don't know. So, you know me, I'm always aware of those kind of things. You got to prove it to me.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with 2 Eagles River because he's got a little bit of a track record. He's been running pretty well. So I'm going to, and Hartman's winning everything. So I'm going to go there, but I'm going to have Disarm right behind him, and I hope he wins. And then I kind of like the 3 Wild Mules. So I like 1, 4, 3.
I am singling the 4. I'll just say it right now.
You're sold that he is healthy.
Well, and
6 workouts, yeah.
Jason and I are probably very biased towards Saratoga babies, but we obviously him and I. love that meet. And
There the day he
let's see, that was August 6th. Yes. Yeah.
okay.
99.9% sure I was there. Let me look that up. That would have been Whitney Day. Yes, I was there. I may not remember this race, but because of Jason, I may not remember this.
Yeah,
race.
there you go.
That was the 6th race on the card. Yeah, Jason, that was the race after we hit the pick 5. So
you
yes, we did watch. That's right, Jason. We were at the bar, at the paddock bar. Yeah. Because we were watching a few of these. So, okay, to get to that race. So, yes, that's right. We did the live show. I did the live show from the flower beds. That's right. That's the day it rained so much.
Were you laying face first in the flower bed, or were you upright?
No. So, what happened that day? So this is Whitney Day. And most people know that watch it, but the guide hit a pick 5 for a ton. The early pick 5. So we had a great rest of the day. And we also life is good. We got to see him. Anyway, it was a great day. But this was the race right after. So we were having a good time. So here's who he beat. All right. Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
He beat Arthur's Ride, was second in that race. He came back to very, very impressively win a maiden special weight last week at Saratoga. Okay. Or at Gulfstream. Krupe was third in this race.
Okay.
He has ran second behind some really good horses. He's in the Risen Star this weekend. I think he's got a big shot. So he's a good horse. Was fourth. He didn't turn out to be much for Shug. The 5th place finisher in this race, Rocket Can. Rocket Can came back to win the Holy Bull. The 6th place finisher in this race, Wadsworth. He's won 2 in a row at Turfway Park for Brad Cox. The 7th place finisher in this race came back to win. The 8th place finisher in this race has won twice over the synthetic.
Wow.
The 9th place finisher in this race, I don't know that he's won. No, he did come back to win his next start, actually. So, and then he's been terrible. But my point is, this was kind of a who's who of maiden special weights. This is why people love Saratoga so much. And Jesse's another one we've seen. I saw a lot of it at Saratoga. Any day you could show up and you get a field like this.
Right.
Disarm beat these horses by 6 1/4.
Yeah. I'm changing my pick.
I think he's got a chance to be special. Now, here's the problem with everything I just said. He's been off since August. We talked about it.
Yeah.
Wasn't an injury that's going to affect his talent level. Sometimes you have a setback, they get back on the track. It's really not that big a deal.
Right.
Is that going to be a problem? I don't know. And that's gambling. That's what this is all about. But right. I think he's going to be a special horse. So I'm going to single him in the spot.
We know the injury was sort of significant because we know what Asmussen does. We know how he handles them. And if he was off that long, it means 2 things. Number one, he loves the horse and he wants to make damn sure that horse is sound.
Yeah.
Which he does. I'm not saying he doesn't do that for others, but you know where I'm going with it.
Right. Yeah.
So they're not going to bring him back till they're absolutely positive.
Correct.
And he's good. So you've just talked me into it. That's the only thing. We don't know where that injury was and how has it affected him. But you've said 6 solid workouts and there's nothing haywire in those. That's a pretty good sign. So it looks like from what we've been discussing, Saturday we have Shopper's Revenge in an allowance. And Sunday we have Disarm in allowance.
Mm-hmm.
And if they both come through, suddenly Asmussen's going to look a little stronger come Monday morning, right?
Yeah. And he's got a couple in the Risen Star. He's got a horse named First Defender in an allowance race on Risen Star Day that was really, really impressive on debut. It does kind of have that feeling of this is a massive weekend for Asmussen. And next weekend, he's got a couple horses for the Rebel. These next 2 weekends will tell us what he's going to be. Before there was Extra Anejo, there was Disarm. I'm telling you, man, Disarm looks so good. We were so excited that day about his potential. He's a gun runner out of a Tappet mare. I mean, so many good things.
Oh yeah.
So we'll see what he does. I have been told, and again, let me be very clear. I don't care anything about workouts. I hate workouts.
Yeah.
I don't care how they're working out. Don't care. But I have been told that he looks great on the track. So we will see. We will see. It's going to be fun.
Yeah. This will be a very interesting race. Race 8 on Sunday. Could be a superstar coming along.
And, again, he may come back and he's not near strong. And it happens. And I'll be wrong. And I've been wrong before. But I really am excited to see what he does. And again, you just look at the horses he beat. Really, really good.
Yeah.
Really, really good. So
it's a big weekend in Oaklawn.
Yeah, Jason said his second favorite horse that day to Dyna Drive, who was the critical horse. In the who beat, wanted, I don't know what the odds were huge, beat a horse by like that much that we did not have on the ticket. So, yeah, we like Dyna Drive. I'll still go Life is Good second to Dyna Drive. Then maybe we'll go Disarm. So, what a day. Saratoga. Can't wait to get back. And it's just February. All right. Well, that's the races. Was he 45 to 1? I don't even remember.
I'm sure they know.
It was you know what? Hold on. Since we got my Saratoga crew is here, I'm gonna look it up.
Okay.
5th race. No, he's 23 to 1.
23 to 1.
Jesse, you're thinking of the race before. He won at 45 to 1 the race before. And then he came back and won this one at 23 to 1. I'm 99% sure that's what you're thinking of. Well, you know what? Here, I've got it right here. Hold on. Yes, he was 45 to 1 the race before at Belmont. He won an allowance. Here's what happened. Just to get totally off track. I was alive to a big pick 5 on that Belmont card. And he beat me at 45 to 1. Now, I didn't have him that day at Belmont, but he was a horse in the past I had liked. Okay. And he fell off form. He came back. I think that race was off of a layoff maybe at Belmont, and he won and he beat me. And I put in the back of my mind, I said, if I can, I'm using him next time. I've always liked him, and he beat me. And I was so pissed. So fast forward, his next start was the Whitney. It was a situation where you could go short in a couple of the other legs that day. And I thought, I'm going to throw that horse in. If I've got enough, I'm going to throw that horse in. And it ended up working out. So, Battle of Normandy won the first race, went like 5 deep. She Caught My Eye won the second race, and I think we may have been short there. I can't remember where we were short. It was either the second or the 4th race. I can't remember. But anyway, that's what happened. So we used Dyna Drive there in that last one. And barely beat Sifting Sands for Chad Brown, who we did not have on the ticket. So, $1,600 pick 4 and $8,500 pick 5 that day. Yeah. So,
isn't that amazing how Jason remembers that?
Well, Jason was there. He hit it.
Well, I know. That's what I meant. He remembers that, boy.
Yeah. Oh, what a day, man! That was such a fun day. God, that was fun.
I can imagine.
Such a good time. Yeah. Oh man. Anyway. All right. Well, that's our coverage for today. Do you have any stories for us, Pop?
Stories? No.
Any questions?
Well, we kind of got away from the questions. Do you have anything maybe you can drum up there? I mean,
well, you don't have anything? You usually have a list prepared. Let's see.
Well, the thing is, we've kind of quit doing that.
I know. We went away from it. Let's see if got any dumb ones on here. Hold on.
Have we ever done the one? I got a couple here.
Okay.
Sitting on something. I don't think we ever did these.
Do them. What are they?
What movie can you practically quote from start to finish? Have we ever done that?
Yes, we've done that one.
Okay, we've done those. Okay.
Yeah, we've done that one.
Well, I don't have any old notebooks here. I have newer ones, so the old notebooks would have the questions. Doesn't Matt give something there?
He's got some new ones on here.
Oh, okay. See, I wouldn't know them either, so I would be prepared.
Have we ever done? We've done these. No, he doesn't have any new ones. I'm kidding.
Oh, okay.
Well, I guess we just have to end the show then.
Well, we can look at a couple of college basketball teams from mid majors.
Yeah, do that. Give us like a mid majors to watch. I like that. Yeah.
Okay. There's several, and it's going to depend a lot on how many teams are going to be coming from certain leagues, and a lot of times what happens to, let's see, for example, the ACC. Somebody comes out of the ACC that's not in the tournament and wins the conference championship tournament and gets that automatic bid. That knocks one of these mid-majors out. But there are some mid-majors that are right at the moment are deserving to be in, even if they don't win their conference championship. One of them is Oral Roberts.
Yeah.
I don't, you pick games every night. You don't follow it as close as I do, and you kick my ass anyway. But they're 23-4.
Yeah, I do kind of keep up with our local-ish, like Oral Roberts and UMKC and teams like St. Louis. Yeah.
And they've had success in the tournament before.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the conference they're in is not as strong as it usually is. They should win, but those conference championship tournaments are tough sometimes, and I don't know where that's played. I would assume they would have a neutral site for that. It's a big enough conference. They probably do. But 23-4, I believe they're undefeated in their league, and they've got 2 or 3 more games to go. How are you going to keep them out if they don't win that? They deserve to be in there, especially they've had success in that tournament before. Another one is College of Charleston.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about them.
Yeah, they've been ranked at one time. They're 25-3. They play tonight, and they should win tonight. That would make them 26-3. Say they win out and win like 4 more.
Mm-hmm.
They have 30 wins. How are you going to leave them out if they don't win that conference tournament? They've got to be in there, don't they?
Yeah, they were ranked at one point or another during the season. The only reason I care about them is I saw where they played when I was freshman, and it was really a cool place.
Yeah.
So, but Hofstra is in the same conference, and they're good too.
Yeah.
So,
but they're not going to get in unless they win it.
Well, yeah, but they could knock Charleston out, maybe.
They could. That's right. Go to the. I always get confused whether Florida Atlantic's in the Conference USA or the Sun Belt.
Yeah, they're in Conference USA, Florida.
Okay.
Yeah.
They're 24-2, right? Isn't that the up-to-date record?
24-2.
That's written down. That's a tough league. There's some decent teams in there. Who's the second place? Are you looking at it right there?
I was. Let me see. I was scrolling through here. North Texas, 21-5.
That's the other one.
Yeah.
21-5, 24-2. They really deserve 2 teams. They're not going to, unless Florida Atlantic doesn't win it, but they're 24-2. How do you leave them out? I
think they're going to get in it. I think no matter what.
I think they're ranked right now. I think they're 25th.
They are.
They've been as high as 19th. Another one, let's see here. The Sun Belt is loaded.
Mm-hmm.
You've got Southern Mississippi, my best bet for today. They're 23-4.
Yeah.
Okay, they got a shot at getting 26, 27 wins. You got Marshall in there. What are they? 21-6? Is that what they are?
21-6. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Louisiana. What's their record now?
Let's see. Louisiana's up to 26. They have lost 2 in a row.
Yeah, they've Florida Atlantic beat them.
Yeah, right.
And Marshall beat them too. I don't know, but
yeah.
So they're 20-6, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you got a league there with 3 teams over 20 wins. That's pretty good. And the one that's going to throw a monkey wrench in the whole thing is the Mountain West. Go to that right quick because they're going to get 3 or 4.
Let's see, Mountain West, they've got San Diego State at 21-5. They're number 21. And then you've got Boise at 20-6, Nevada at 20-6, Utah State is 20-7.
Yeah, and New Mexico's 19-7, right?
New Mexico, where are they? They are 19-7, yes.
Yeah.
Now they're under 500 in the league.
Yeah, they have really slumped. At one time,
Yeah.
they were undefeated and ranked in the top 15, but they've really fallen off. So they're probably out unless they win the tournament. That's some pretty good records, and that's a pretty good league that's had success.
Yeah.
At times in the tournament. You know, San Diego State's been really consistent. So those are just some teams that are really having a great year that probably may not make it if they don't win their tournament. What's another one? Liberty's another one. They're like 21-6, I think.
Let me ask you about two conferences.
All right.
Before we go,
Okay.
that have been known to produce, some teams that can make a little bit of a run. The Missouri Valley, they always seem to have a team that's tough.
Right.
This year, you got Drake at 22-6, Bradley at 20-8, Southern Illinois at 20-8. Any of these three teams good enough, in your opinion? I know you probably at least follow the scores pretty closely.
Yeah, I do. And I follow the conference because Missouri State's in it.
Yeah.
It's a league that's just like it always is, balanced.
Yeah. No
great team in it. Teams that have been good out of that, Bradley made a run one year. Wichita State used to be in the league and made a run. Loyola used to be in the league and made a run. So I think Drake could. I don't know about Southern Illinois. They don't score much. They have to really – the matchup would have to be perfect for them. Mm-hmm. I don't think they're going to win the tournament either. I think Drake's playing better than anybody. But you're right. That's a good league that's had some teams come out of it. What's another one? You know, the more I look at it, and again, I watch a lot. The most dominant team I've seen, week in and game in, game out, is Houston. The problem is you got to consider the competition they play, but they roll them. You know, they don't just squeak by.
Yeah,
I think this may be Kelvin Sampson's best chance to win the national tournament because there's not a powerhouse team.
When we talk about basketball on the Daily Show, a lot of, not a lot, but 3 or 4 guys are always on there saying Houston's going to win it. So
they're dominant. They're so well coached. Matchups is the whole key for them.
Yeah.
If they get up against a team just like them, they have a hard time winning sometimes. But you get those run and gun teams like Alabama. Now, Alabama beat them in the regular season at Houston. I'd take Houston all day long against a run and gun team like Alabama.
I agree with that 100%. Yeah, 100%. All right, final conference we're going to talk about, the American East. Albany upsets UMBC. The Great Danes, though, still 7-21 on the season.
Yeah, I don't think
this is a one-team league for sure.
Yes.
I am a fan of the Vermont Catamounts.
Oh, yeah.
Because I have been there and I love that campus, and I've been to their basketball and I've been to their hockey. The Catamounts are in front. Can the Catamounts win the conference, and will they have any chance in the tournament? That's my question.
They will win the conference. I don't think they're good enough to win it all. I tell you, there's 2 teams that I like right now, and I don't know if they're going to survive the league that they're in. I like Baylor an awful lot right now. They are rolling. They struggled early. They found their stride. They're winning games. They play Kansas Saturday. And Kansas is playing good too.
Yeah.
And that league is so tough. I think that game's at Baylor. I think it is.
That is it. No, it's at Kansas.
It's in Lawrence. Okay.
Yeah.
That'll be a war like you've never seen before. That'll be something else. The other team you really like, and I do too, and that's UCLA. Yeah. Very consistent.
They're up to number 4. They play California Saturday. We'll see.
They've won 3 games, California has. So, yeah, they're very consistent. They play the same every night. They don't blow anybody out. You know, they 72-55 them every time. You know, that's pretty good. Now, their league is not very tough. That's the only thing. So, we're a couple of weeks away. These next 2 weeks are going to be tremendous basketball if you like college basketball. There's just going to, and then that tournament, forget it.
Big 12 every week is a good week or a good weekend. I should say Baylor, Kansas, and Iowa State, Kansas State. That's the ranked matchups there in the Big
on Saturday.
Yes,
on Saturday.
Yep.
K-State is slumping. They're starting to fall out of it. They can't beat anybody right now,
right?
Obviously, because Oklahoma beat them. Iowa State looked great last night against TCU.
Yeah.
Of course, that game was in Ames. They could beat the Celtics in Ames, probably.
Yeah, that's good. They could. All right. Well, on that note, we are done. Why? Well, we got to get out of here because Magic Mike's going to be here in 54
No, number 4 for today.
No, I'm not being on that one, though.
But here's the thing, guys. There's nothing to look forward to tonight like there usually is. So you're going to have to find something to do with yourself tonight.
I know. Yeah, we're not going to be here to entertain tonight. Thankfully, there's hockey on. It starts at 6, so I'll have something to do. But
yeah, Missouri Southern basketball tonight too.
Who are they playing tonight?
Oh, it's big, huge for the girls. They're playing Kearney.
Oh yeah, they're not bad. All right,
No,
well,
he's first place. So
I'll have that on. Is that at home? Are we at home tonight? Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
I didn't know they. Okay. All right. Well, doesn't matter. Nobody cares about that. All right. Well. Yeah, Jesse, I will be supervising. No, I probably won't. After 3 shows, I'll let them do it on their own. We'll see what happens.
They can handle it.
Yeah, they can handle it for sure. All right, we're gonna get out of here. That's it for today. We'll be right back here next week. We got a huge listen. This show will be the show next week because we talk Oaklawn and it's Rebel Weekend at Oaklawn.
Oh boy!
So a lot to talk about at Oaklawn next week. Going to be
you're going. You're going, right, or not?
Yes, I will be there. Hold on. Before we go, listen to me just extending the show here. Possibles for the Rebel, Bourbon Bash for Lucas, Giant Mischief for Brad Cox, Gun Pilot for Steve Asmussen, Red Route 1 for Steve Asmussen, Verifying for Brad Cox. That's the locals. We do not know about the shippers yet, but that's the local possibles. There'll be more, trust me.
Baffert will have something in it.
Baffert will have something. I've heard another California horse or 2 might be coming. I bet we might get 1 or 2 from the fairgrounds. I bet it'll be about a field of 8 or 9 by the time it's over.
You think Pletcher might send something? Has he got anything he might?
I don't think he has one that really fits.
Okay.
But I didn't think he'd send Croupy to the Razorback or to the Risen Star either. So
we'll see.
I don't know. Davey, are you going to be at Oaklawn? If so, we'll meet up as well. I think Shoddy's definitely going to be there. So definitely.
We're considering it.
Okay. Well, it could just be a wild ass time then. It sounds like. So we'll see. Now wife's got a meeting on Thursday in Northwest Arkansas. So going down there and then making that drive Friday morning a little bit easier. So I will be there Friday and Saturday for sure. Going to be fun. So, all right, guys.
All right, guys.
We will be back at some point. Don't know yet. Maybe. There's no maybe, Davey. Right. You're coming. All right, guys. We'll see you next week.
This is Due to Bet Sports. Due to Bet Sports, it's your favorite show. Due to Bet Sports, where degenerates go. Due to Bet Sports, time to change your approach with Aaron Halterman and his father, the coach. Let's ride.
Well, the Associated Press is full of shit